70% of people who start a health journey quit before the end of the first week because they're chasing intensity instead of consistency. You don't need a grueling new routine. You need a system that survives your laziest days. We're going to walk through 10 habits that don't require a gym membership or a massive grocery bill. By the end of this, you'll have a health blueprint that actually works for a busy person. But don't click away yet, because I'm going to share the one physiological switch in tip number 4 that most people get exactly backward, and it's likely why you're still crashing every afternoon. The wellness industry makes health look like a full-time job. They want you to buy expensive supplements, follow extreme diets, and wake up at 5 a.m. for gym sessions that leave you too sore to move. Most people fail because they try to overhaul their entire life overnight. We're going to pivot away from perfection and look at the low-friction habits that provide 90% of the health benefits. Start your day by becoming the architect of your own morning. This is your bookend routine. The goal is cortisol regulation. When you wake up, your cortisol levels are naturally at their peak. If you grab your phone and start doom scrolling, you're spiking that stress hormone even further, putting your brain in a state of reaction instead of action. Just spend 5 minutes doing something low stimulation before you touch a screen. Drink a glass of water, stretch, or just sit for a moment. I usually just tidy up my kitchen counter. It's simple, it's quiet, and it sets a tone of control. The mistake most people make is reaching for the phone before their feet even hit the floor. You're inviting the world's problems into your head before you've even brushed your teeth. Then, there's the 20-minute sunlight rule. This is all about your circadian rhythm. Your body has a master clock that needs to be reset every single day. If you stay inside with artificial lights, your body gets confused about whether it's morning or midnight. You need to get outside within the first hour of waking up. You don't need to stare at the sun. Just being outdoors is enough. I go for a quick walk around the block while I listen to a podcast. It signals to your brain to stop producing melatonin and start producing cortisol, which gives you that clean, natural energy. But wait, the craziest part is still ahead. The mistake most people make here is thinking they can just turn on a bright light in the kitchen. That doesn't work. The intensity of natural sunlight is orders of magnitude higher than any bulb in your house. You have to go outside. Next, try the eat your greens first hack. Most of us eat our carbs or starches first and save the veggies for the end. Or worse, ignore them entirely. If you eat your salad or steamed vegetables before you touch the pasta or the bread, you create a fiber mesh in your intestines. This slows down the absorption of glucose into your bloodstream. It keeps your blood sugar stable, which means you don't get that massive energy spike followed by the inevitable crash. If you've ever felt that post-lunch energy crash, hit that like button. It's a universal struggle, and we're about to fix it. Just start your meal with a handful of spinach or a few stalks of broccoli. The mistake is thinking it doesn't matter what order you eat your food in. It totally does. Now, take that 10-minute walk after you eat. This is the physiological switch I mentioned earlier. When you eat, your blood glucose rises. A quick 10-minute stroll, just walking around your house or the parking lot, is enough to force your muscles to use that glucose for energy instead of letting it sit in your bloodstream and eventually get stored as fat. It's like a cheat code for your metabolism. The Journal of Applied Physiology has confirmed this multiple times. It's not about burning calories. It's about signaling to your body to handle the fuel you just gave it. Don't sit on the couch and watch TV right after a big meal. That is the exact opposite of what your body wants. Moving on to mastering your sleep window. People obsess over getting 8 hours, but they get those hours at the wrong time. If you're going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 10 a.m., you're missing out on the deep, restorative sleep that happens when your body is naturally aligned with the dark. Try to keep your sleep window consistent. Go to bed within the same hour every night. This isn't just about how long you sleep. It's about the quality of the repair your brain does during those specific hours. The mistake is thinking you can make up for lost sleep on the weekend. You can't. Your body's internal clock doesn't care about your Saturday schedule. Hydration before caffeine is a massive one. You wake up dehydrated from 6 to 8 hours of not drinking anything. When you pour coffee into a dehydrated system, you're putting a load on your adrenal glands that they don't need. Drink 16 ounces of water before you even touch the coffee pot. I keep a glass on my nightstand, so it's the first thing I see. It wakes up your metabolism and clears the brain fog much faster than caffeine does. You'll find you need less coffee overall, which means you'll have less of an afternoon crash. The mistake is using coffee as a substitute for water. Caffeine is a diuretic, so you're just digging a deeper hole for yourself. We're halfway through, but tip number 7 is the secret weapon for people who hate the gym. Passive movement, or NEAT, that stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is the movement you do during the day that isn't a workout. It's taking the stairs, pacing while on a phone call, or parking at the back of the lot. Studies show that people who have high NEAT levels burn more calories per day than people who do a 45-minute gym session and then sit still for the rest of the day. If you're finding these small shifts easier to digest than a no-carb diet, subscribe for more low-stress health advice. The mistake is thinking that if you don't do a hard workout, your day was a waste. Your body is designed to move all day, not just for 1 hour at the gym. Let's talk about protein front-loading. Most people eat a carb-heavy breakfast and a huge dinner. If you front-load your protein, meaning you get at least 20 to 30 grams of protein in your first meal, you'll be significantly less hungry for the rest of the day. Protein triggers satiety hormones that keep you feeling full and satisfied. It's also crucial for maintaining the muscle mass that keeps your metabolism humming. I find that when I have a protein-heavy breakfast, I don't even think about snacking until late in the afternoon. The mistake is saving your protein for dinner. You're hungry all day, you overeat, and then you feel heavy when you try to sleep. Tip number 9 is the digital sunset. About an hour before you go to bed, you need to stop looking at blue light. This includes your phone, your laptop, and your TV. Blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still the middle of the day, which suppresses your melatonin production. If you can't fully unplug, at least use a blue light filter on your devices, or wear blue light blocking glasses. This ritual tells your body that the day is effectively over and it's time to wind down. The reason this changes everything is rooted in your brain chemistry. You're literally preventing your body from producing the chemical it needs to get sleepy. Finally, the 1% social investment. Longevity isn't just about what you eat or how much you walk. It's about your connections. Chronic stress is one of the biggest killers of health, and it's often tied to isolation. You don't need to be a social butterfly. Just invest 1% of your day in a real, face-to-face interaction or a deep conversation with someone who matters to you. It lowers your stress hormones and shifts your nervous system from fight or flight to rest and digest. Drop a comment below. Which of these 10 habits feels the most doable for you today? I read every single one. The mistake is thinking that health is a solo mission. It's not. Humans are social creatures, and we don't thrive when we're isolated. Before you go, I want to give you the bonus tip: the anti-decision environment. Willpower is a finite resource. If you have to wake up and decide whether to exercise, you've already lost. Change your environment so the healthy choice is the default choice. Leave your running shoes by the front door. Put a bowl of fruit on the counter instead of a bag of chips. If the healthy option is the easiest option, you don't need willpower. You just need to exist. This all sounds like a lot, but don't try to change your whole life by Monday. That leads to burnout. Here is your action plan. Today, just pick one of these tips. Just one. Tomorrow, execute that tip with 0 exceptions. Don't add a second one yet. Stay with that single habit for 3 days. Once you feel like it's becoming part of your identity, then move on to the next one. Health isn't a trophy you win. It's a series of small, boring, consistent choices. Most people fail because they want the result without the process. You're not going to be that person. You're going to be the person who builds a system that lasts for years, not days. Think about the compounding effect of these habits. If you start tonight with the digital sunset, you sleep better. Because you sleep better, you have more energy to move when you wake up. Because you moved in the morning, you're more mindful about what you eat for lunch. Because you ate a high-protein lunch, you didn't crash at 3 p.m. Everything is connected. You don't need to do all 10 today to see a change. Even if you only implemented the post-meal walk, your blood sugar stability would improve, your digestion would feel better, and you'd likely drop a few pounds over the next few months without ever counting a single calorie. Don't get hung up on the perfect version of these habits. If you only have time for a 5-minute walk instead of 10, do the 5 minutes. If you missed the sunlight window because of a meeting, catch it tomorrow. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to stop being inconsistent. Most people think they need a massive life event to start being healthy. They wait for the new year, or a vacation, or a doctor's warning. You don't need any of that. You have the power right now to change the trajectory of your health with things you can do in your own living room. The data is clear on this. The people who live the longest aren't the ones who do the most intense workouts. They're the ones who integrate movement into their daily lives. They walk to the store, they stand while they work, they prepare their own food. They treat their bodies like a vehicle that needs to be maintained, not a machine that needs to be broken. You're already doing a lot of these things in some capacity. You're just not doing them with intention yet. Once you add the layer of consciousness, once you realize that the walk to the mailbox is actually a cardiovascular health habit, everything shifts. Be patient with yourself as you build these routines. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll want to sit on the couch and scroll for hours. That's okay. The habit isn't defined by the days you do it perfectly. It's defined by how quickly you get back to it when you slip up. If you miss a day, don't label it a failure. Just reset and go again. That is the only difference between the people who reach their goals and the people who stay stuck. Look at your surroundings right now. Is there one thing you can change to make your life just a little bit easier? Maybe it's moving your charger across the room so you have to get out of bed to turn off your alarm. Maybe it's buying a bigger water bottle so you don't have to refill it as often. These tiny adjustments are the difference between a life of effort and a life of flow. You're building a version of yourself that doesn't have to fight for health because health has become the natural state of your day. Let's talk about that 3 p.m. slump again. It's not just a lack of coffee. It's a symptom of a lifestyle that ignores the body's natural rhythms. When you fix the foundation, the sleep, the morning light, the protein, the movement, that slump disappears. It's not that you won't get tired. It's that you'll have a clean, steady stream of energy that lasts until you're actually ready to go to bed. That is a game changer for your productivity and your mood. When you start feeling better, you'll naturally want to do more. You'll notice your clothes fitting differently, your mind being sharper, and your temper being a little bit shorter. That's the reinforcement you need to keep going. It's a positive feedback loop. The more you put in, the more you get out. It's not about restriction, it's about optimization. You're not depriving yourself of a fun life, you're giving yourself the energy to actually enjoy it. Take these 10 tips and write down the one you're going to start with. Just one. Put it on a sticky note on your mirror or set a reminder on your phone. Keep it simple. If you try to do all 10 by tomorrow, you'll be back to your old habits by Friday. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Let's see what you're capable of in the next 30 days. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and you have the blueprint. The only thing left is to take that first, small, boring, and incredibly effective step. Now, go ahead and get started. Let's see what you can build. Since you have made it this far, you clearly have the discipline to see this through, so